sorry, actually last time I was not
Keep
present
it
for the
short,
class.
5 minutes.
Yes,
बोलिए.
yes. I was not present for the class last time, but I just read.
Okay.
So basically in this section, there is description of how Advaita Acharya is doing Sankirtan when Lord Chaitanya is staying at his home for 10 days. This festival goes on. And very nicely it is explained how first Advaita Acharya fed Lord Chaitanya sumptuously, and then evenings they would have kirtans, which would go for one prahar, 3 hours at least. And all through Advaita Acharya would be singing and dancing. And when Advaita Acharya would start singing, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would manifest most deepest of the ecstatic symptoms, which would like appear also in his physical appearance, like Shweta Kampa Ashru. And then it is mentioned suddenly how once Lord Chaitanya, out of intense ecstatic separation, he just fell on the ground, and seeing his condition, then Mukunda understood in what mood he is, and appropriately he sang some verses from Vidyapati's song. And so one striking thing which I felt was how these internal associates of Lord Chaitanya, they exactly know when to do what to keep up the ecstasy of the Lord. And like later when this section is about to end, that time where Nityanand Prabhu also now understands that it is time for Lord to be controlled, make him stop dancing and put him to rest. So I was thinking how to know the mood of the master and act accordingly so that his ecstasy is maintained is so important. So I think this is how this section ends. There is description of, in detail it is described how Lord is dancing, Mukunda is singing some verses, and that is increasing Lord's feeling of separation, and that Mathura, our Radharani, is seeing Krishna in Mathura after a long time.
Yeah, good. You summarized it very well. Jai.
Thank you.
Any other point anyone has noticed? अपना अपना सेक्शन ही पढ़ा है कि दूसरे का भी पढ़ा है थोड़ा?
Somehow read our own section. That's
भाई फिर दूसरा पढ़ेंगे तो कुछ सवाल पूछ सकते हैं, कुछ ऐड भी कर सकते हैं ना. Any comments or anything?
When I read that portion, Prabhuji, I was wondering that this our Lord Chaitanya, he is getting pacified by the songs of Vidyapati. So I was intrigued about how Vidyapati's and Chandidas and Jayadev Goswami's songs are so important in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. I was wondering. I don't know. That was just a thought.
Thought came. Okay. Any other comments by any of others?
And I could not.
Hari boliye.
Yeah, as we are reading, actually these are the very intimate past tense of the Lord. What is thinking of Lord? What is feeling? Which Acharya they are given. So otherwise, though our myself, the level or Krishna consciousness is not so awakened, but by the mercy of Acharyas, we have understanding about very inner core desires of the Lord, what He wants, what can please Him. So these are very high pastime. So and through that, which Acharyas have access, and sometimes it may not be understood completely what they are saying, but that much we can understand that they understand, and we can please them by serving them in parampara.
So, Joe, what you said that we may not be able to exactly understand what they are, what emotion they are undergoing. You said like that.
Yeah, being so many things become inconceivable in dealings and in also their expressions and desires also. So, but still, because by the fortune, by our great fortune, we have received their association through their writings and their thought process, and we can please them and get their mercy.
Okay. So basically, if I am understanding right, you are saying even if you are not able to really understand in depth what is the mood Lord Chaitanya is relishing, what is, even if we can't get a deeper understanding of what is being described, but still we can be the recipient of mercy by appreciating and by worshipping those, right? Kind of. Am I right? Did I put it rightly that we still appreciate that what they are relishing in the high, even if we don't understand what they have said, what the deeper meaning, but still we appreciate and still we access the mercy available. Is it? Is it what you wanted to say?
Yeah, that was my thought.
Okay, this is Kaviraj Goswami also says, So he said, even if you don't understand, if you go on hearing, then your mercy will continue to come in and your love for Krishna will develop. You will gradually be able to appreciate also in due course of time. So what doesn't make sense now, if you go on hearing with faith, we have the faith that these are very sublime pastimes, these are pastimes with Lord relished. So even without understanding, by hearing with faith, by reading, there will be Shunilai Bada Hai Hit. There will be great benefit and spiritual merit in just by hearing. Even we are not able, because this is a now when we say we don't understand, this is not a siddhant to be understood. Actually, because there are pastimes. Oh, Lord Chaitanya became so ecstatic when he read, "Where will I find Krishna? Yahan gele kanu pan, tahan udi yan. I'll fly to that place." And in this section, you may say, I don't see, I'm not able to relate that what made Lord Chaitanya feel so ecstatic. So therefore, this is the bhav, this is the rasa. So we may not be able to exactly enter. If there is something siddhant, then we can understand with the intelligence or something. If someone is, singing one line and there is intense amount of ecstasy, kind of all the ecstatic symptoms are there and he's uncontrollable, right? To our logical mind and intellect, we may not be able to appreciate it, understand it, that what is in this that is making Lord Chaitanya so ecstatic or something. Basically, we may not be able to relate to it. Right? So, but still, as I said, even if we are not able to relate to it, what's happening over here, we understand that what Lord Chaitanya felt was due to the great love he had. Due to the great love he had. So we just hear about it with faith. We worship those pastimes, and gradually we will be able to also appreciate, even if we can't now do it. Fine, okay, thank you. Just one thing in this section is, please go through. This is the Kirtan happening at Advaitacharya's house. Advaitacharya is super ecstatic to have Lord Chaitanya in his house. Advaitacharya's ecstasy knows no bound. That is one thing about Advaitacharya. He has a mood of, das toward Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is master. So he considers him the servant. So therefore, he is very ecstatic to have Lord Chaitanya, and he is mentioned that they were singing one pada, after that they sang another pad. So this is how sometimes the verses of separation, and when the feeling of separation would take the love, it would increase the love to a new height, and then there would be different verses about meeting Krishna. So this meeting and separation, right? This is how even Ramandraya, Swarup Damodar Goswami, at times they would sing verses of meeting, at times of separation, seeing the mood of Lord Chaitanya, and that's how the rasa would flow between meeting and separation. I don't know whether I shared that with you previously. I heard from Ijuli Radhana Swami Maharaj, it was very insightful. Regarding now this concept of serving in separation, feelings of separation, and the separation increases the love, right? And then in that feeling of separation, again there is a meeting, right? That's all. So this concept may sometimes remain theoretical, but now whenever I hear about meeting and separation, right, these feelings, I always remember one example given by Lord Chaitanya, which will always help us to understand what is this feeling of separation, and then meeting with Krishna, again feeling of separation. So this may, and how it increases the love. So, and how, what is its relevance in our lives, right? What can be its relevance in our lives also? So Lord Chaitanya तो हुआ अच्छा हुआ meeting separation, लेकिन अपना तो कभी meeting ही नहीं, तो separation का कोई बात ही नहीं. Right? We are located at a distance, right? So kind of. So this is Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He is speaking in one of his Vrindavan lectures. So he, as you all must have heard from him also, he has described it several times. When he went back to US, right, his visa expired, he went back. Then Brajvasi told him you could stay in New Vrindavan. Then suddenly in New York, devotees announced that there is a Janmashtami, a 1 week festival in New Vrindavan. We invite the devotees to come and serve. Then Maharaj went and he remembered that Brajvasis had told me you can stay in New Vrindavan. He went, and then when the Prabhupada and devotees expressed that he should continue to serve over in New Vrindavan, so he continued to serve there for around 10-11 years. From 1971 to 82. 82 is when he could come back to Vrindavan. So he went to US to come back to Vrindavan immediately. But then he exhibited the surrender and stayed in New Vrindavan for 11 years. And in that 11 years, he would do a daily parikrama, Manas parikrama of Vrindavan. And you heard, I'm sure you must have heard. So daily before lunch, he would do 20 to 25 or max half an hour, 20-25 minute ka Manas parikrama of all the places which he would visit. So then he mentioned in one of the classes, he said, doing in those Manas parikrama, right, when I was doing Manas parikrama, I could experience Vrindavan even more tangibly than I could have experienced physically. So in this Manas parikrama, the way I experienced Vrindavan, right, it was even more tangible. So that, again, separation. Although Maharaj did not talk of that I was in separation or something, he just made a statement. Because he was serving, he was separated from this Vrindavan, right? Obviously, he never wanted to leave, he was separated. And he was separated and surrendered to Guru's instruction, served Guru in the feeling of separation. And he said, I experienced Vrindavan in those 11 years much more closely, right, in my heart than on a physical level. So I was shocked that he always wanted to do Vrindavan, but he was separated and he would do Manas Parikrama. And in New Vrindavan, he was experiencing this Vrindavan more intimately than he would have experienced if he had stayed. Just imagine. ये भाव वृंदावन का एक्सपीरियंस जो उनको वो 11 साल वहां पे हुआ, वो यहाँ पे रह के नहीं होता था, बोल रहे हैं. जो न्यू वृंदावन में वृंदावन का एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, I was shocked, right? So therefore, there he was in feeling the separation. So what is his experience all about? Experience is all about how much love we have, right? कितना प्रेम है, जितना प्रेम है उतना, to that degree we can experience the particular object of our love, right? To that degree it will affect our heart, it will, whatever, it will melt our heart, it will bring feelings in our heart, feelings of devotion within our heart. To the degree we have love, so therefore in the feeling of separation, his love increased. And two things: one, this, he was feeling separation from Vrindavan, therefore he was doing Manas Parikrama. Second thing is surrender to Guru instructions, right? So serving Guru's instructions. So serving Guru instructions in surrender and feeling the separation from Vrindavan increased his love, and sitting in New Vrindavan, he was experiencing Vrindavan more intimately than he would have experienced staying. So therefore, the whole point, so then from this example, we can understand, right, separation, meeting. So when he was saying, I experienced Vrindavan more closely, more intimately in New Vrindavan, what does that mean? There was a meeting. He was there in Vrindavan on a different plane and was experiencing Vrindavan in that separation. Do you see? So there is a separation and there is a meeting. Right? So therefore this is how the love grows. How the love grows. So in this, as I mentioned one time in this Vrindavan GV, he mentioned very clearly what is his vision, so that we can cultivate our feelings of separation from Vrindavan. So like that. So along with, of course, service to Guru is the substance, serving instruction of Guru and separation. So this example somehow has stuck in my mind to understand this, right? To understand this. So therefore, what I'm saying is, so therefore, although it seems, why Krishna left Brajavasis at times, they were plunged into feeling of separation. Is it not? बहुत अन्याय किया भगवान ने, छोड़ के चले गए, वापिस नहीं आए वृंदावन, ब्रजवासी रोते रह गए. But they were experiencing Krishna. That's the whole point. They were experiencing Krishna more intimately and closely than what they would have experienced if Krishna would have been physically there. So they were experiencing Krishna. So Krishna was with them also. Right? So they were feeling separation, but he was with them also. So that continuously, that loving reciprocation, that meeting and separation, that was continuously going on another platform, on a spiritual level. Continuously, the Brajavasis were meeting Krishna, and they would be feeling the separation, right? But again, there would be a meeting which would be very sweeter. So like that. So this, why I mentioned this is because if you see within this section also, there are verses which describes verses about feeling the separation from Krishna, then verses about meeting Krishna, right? And this would go on. Right? This is because Lord Chaitanya, he has come to relish that ecstasy, right? That love of Srimati Radharani, which grows through this. So therefore, I explained this pastime to explain this Siddhant, so that anytime you read such section, you should be able to relate that what we are talking. Okay? Yes, Pankaj, go Prabhu.
A few things.
Yeah.
Number one is that I mean, these may be weird doubts, but some things which I just thought to ask.
No, you can ask any. Don't think any question is weird question. Whatever comes to your mind, you can ask.
So one thing is that, about when we are talking of, the love which the Vrajavasis is experiencing in separation. um, it has not been so extensively mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I mean, about their episode, that side, that part, until and unless we actually read the Chaitanya Charitamrita and we are followers of Mahaprabhu, this love and separation concept in itself is, I mean, little chand, kind of, it's covered. So only the place where Brahmar Geet and the place of the 81st chapter when the devotees meet the Lord in Kurukshetra. So some places, and that's also very covered. So that is my one question. I mean, one thought that, unless actually one is under the premises of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shelter, it's actually very difficult to even think of this concept of love and separation. That was my one thought. Another thought, I mean, I'm just sharing and I want your comments and kind of it's not just questions, it's just some kind of things. Another thing is here in one of the verses, Kaviraj Goswami, he says that he's experiencing symptoms of disappointment, moroseness, pleasure, restlessness, pride, and humility. And all of them are like soldiers fighting as soldiers. This is 127. They're fighting as soldiers within the Lord. So, I mean, what is the meaning of this experiences? I mean, is it having any actual? What is the? I'm not saying what is the experience, but what is the meaning of that? Soldiers fighting.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone would like to say anything? क्या हल्दर प्रिय प्रभु कुछ बोलिए आपका क्या अंडरस्टैंडिंग है
While we were discussing, I was just going through the translations. They're basically this is all about the rasa or the transcendental mellow experience by Lord Chaitanya. Very high platform, and how Nityanand Prabhu and Mukunda and Advaita Acharya, all of them, they had such loving feelings. The mood for giving Lord the highest pleasure while not thinking about their own pleasure. That's the mood of the master and the servant. Always wanting that the Lord should be the most happy. And how we at our level cannot understand what the Lord is going through. At one point of time, Advaitacharya and everyone is feeling, is the Lord actually in great trouble? But then Lord suddenly jumps up and says, "Go on speaking more. I'm feeling more ecstasy." So I mean, like as a servant, we cannot. I heard there was one more pastime connected to Srila Prabhupada in the same line, that there was one photograph of Prabhupada which was shown to him, and he said, "Prabhupada, why you are so morose in this photo?" And Prabhupada said, "Actually, this was my ecstasy. this photograph is actually that time I was in ecstasy." So a servant cannot actually understand the mood of the master, but then when the master himself expresses that I am going through this, we should the devotee actually feels very happy.
Okay.
Some of
Yeah. Anyway, coming to Pankaj Goprabhu's what Pankaj Goprabhu said. See the understanding Bhagavatam or the love of Vrindavan, this or love growing through separation is actually quite a. I don't think any other sampradaya also has that. Besides Gaudiya Vaishnava, the fact. Therefore, this has been taught by Lord Chaitanya specifically through the followers Goswamis. But of course, Bhagavatam that is there in the Bhagavatam, but it's not so directly highlighted. Because Prokshavad Rishaya Proksham Mama Chapriyam. Bhagavatam reveals to the intelligent and conceals. Because there are so many Rishis, Munis, Gyanis sitting. So Bhagavatam, is acting like Mohini Murti. So it's revealing to the pure devotees and concealing also from many. So because it's not so directly mentioned. And Kaviraj Goswami, he has revealed the innermost depths of Lord Chaitanya's heart. So this is directly revealing. But Shukdev Goswami is also concealing simultaneously. So therefore, it's not so obvious in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just that the glories of Srimati Radharani are given directly in CC, so many places with her name. But not even once Shukdev Goswami gives the direct name of Srimati Radharani, right? So like that. So therefore, this is very unique contribution. This is something very unique. Loving or meeting within the feeling of separation, love growing through separation, which is the highest, which is the highest form of love actually, which is the highest form of love. So therefore, there's a contribution. That's how the love in Vrindavan grows continuously. That's how the love flows. Right? So therefore, it's a dynamics of the loving mellows. Okay, then what are these symptoms? It's mentioned that they were like soldiers fighting. Very ecstatic symptom. Verse 127. Nirved, Vishad, Harsha, Chapalya, Garbhadanya. So you can only understand this is just like take two in one sense. Say Harsh and Vishad. Just take two to understand multiple. So there could be like even when some devotee leaves. Have you attended some memorial session, right, of some devotee leaving? So what happens at times there is a intense feeling of separation. Devotees begin to cry. Then someone narrates a pastime, which was having a humor, jovial. Within that, everyone begins to laugh, right? And there is a heartfelt laughter. You may say, "ले क्या चल रहा है? अभी ये हंस रहे हैं, अभी रो रहे हैं, क्या भाव है?" So that love, the ecstatic love, produces various emotions, and sometimes one emotion becomes stronger, other emotion becomes stronger. Just like in a battle, one soldier may become stronger, another soldier may become stronger. So he was experiencing such intense loving emotions, and there were different feelings. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained that sometime thinking that the Lord, I am not able to see the Lord. So there would be just see 127. So thinking that when will I be able to see the Lord, or I am not able to see the Lord? Has the Lord become angry with me? There would be disappointment and moroseness. But then in that, Krishna will suddenly show, and then there would be pleasure. Right? But then one is not able to experience Krishna fully, so there is restlessness. So like that, there is a pastime, there is experience of Krishna going on, and suddenly different emotion is coming forth. Right? Suddenly Krishna shows, there is a beautiful, but then Krishna says something that increases the restlessness, right? Or the pride, or Krishna expresses his gratitude, that brings the pride. But then one focuses on one's own in disqualification, that Hare Krishna, can you all hear me? इनका थोड़ा ये still हो गया. Okay. So again, I when I consider myself, how lowly I am, immediately that humility increases. So it's like various bhavas occurring within the body while experiencing Krishna. Even not on a physical platform, on another dimension, on a spiritual platform. Right? A devotee is experiencing Krishna, and due to that experience, different symptoms would manifest in a very strong way, as per the exchange, as per the particular emotion. Yeah.
So does this mean, Prabhuji, that eventually the devotee who is experiencing the highest degree of prema his body becomes incapable of holding to these emotions, and then he leaves the body to experience this more. Is this what happens?
अभी sorry.
I
अच्छा
mean,
देखो वो you have read that verse. एवं व्रतः सप्रिय नाम कीर्तया जातानुरागो द्रुत चित्त उच्चैः हसति अथो रोदति रोटि गायति उन्मादवत नित्यति लोक बाह्य. Have read that word? Read the commentary of Vishwanath Thakur. He explains, that how a devotee experiences these symptoms, various symptoms. Like he immediately feel, oh, Krishna is there, he's embracing me, he will start dancing. Again, not seeing Krishna, again morose, crying for Krishna, laughing, singing. They're different. It's very similar. So what produces that is Krishna's, that love makes, Krishna's reciprocation makes a devotee go through different emotions. So you can exactly read that commentary of Vishwanath Thakur in answer to this question. Hasati atho rodati. Immediately a devotee is laughing, hasati. Then a devotee starts crying, and a devotee is agitated, roti, starts singing, right? He starts dancing, one after another, one after another. So like that. So then what did you say now? उसका वो पढ़ लीजिए तो इसका अंडरस्टैंडिंग आ जाएगा.
I was telling that is this the, I mean, if a devotee, if he's experiencing all the symptoms and they are all mutually contradicting one another, so is this what happens, that he feels that his body is not able to, because here what is happening after this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has begun to totter the sort of various symptoms, and then he immediately fell on the ground and his breathing stopped almost, and he made starting thundering sounds and all the varieties of things. So I mean, my question is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radharani, they are having the highest Mahabhava. So they are able to experience that. But as a devotee, if he is growing higher and higher and going to the level of prema, and eventually, loving separation. So when he experiences this, and his capacity of the body is not there to experience these varieties of emotions at the same time parallelly, and does this mean that he leaves the body due to the lack of this body's capacity to handle all these emotions?
Yeah, basically the it manifests on the body in various ways, and at times it makes the devotee feel that I will not be able to live in the body. Such strong emotions and so on. Out of intense grief also, people in this world say, I won't be able to live. When someone very near person leaves the body, sometimes people do leave also, is it not? The other person in deep separation may not be able to live. The emotion may be so strong, so person may not be able to live also. And similarly, the devotee feel that I may not also be able to live, but then Krishna keeps this devotee alive. Right? So it's mentioned that devotee also wants to give up the body in separation, but the Krishna keeps the devotee alive. प्रेमे कृष्णा मिले, प्रेमी भक्त वियोगे चाहे देह छाड़ी थे, प्रेमे कृष्णा मिले से हा ना पारे मरी थे. So devotee may say the verse, so preme Krishna mile seha na pare mari, but Krishna immediately comes and embrace, and again the devotee is not able to leave the body. So Krishna doesn't let his devotee leave the body in separation.
Because as we were discussing, I was thinking about Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj's departure and Gaur Maharaj's departure. It's like it's not a general departure. It's like they're not having. I also heard even Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he did not have a single patch in his body in spite of that accident. He just left. I heard. I'm not sure. So I mean. Is this the thing? That's what I was wondering. Yes, bro.
Well, that I can't immediately comment upon that. Not given 3 examples. You are pure devotees. But here the Siddhanta is a devotee may want to live in ecstasy, leave the body, not able to tolerate separation and so on. But Krishna still sustains the body of the devotee. That much is said in the CC. And each devotee departs in a different, unique way by the will of the Lord. So, okay. So next section, who is presenting? 5 minutes में complete करेंगे आज chapter भाई. Who is giving the second section?
137 from 137.
137 onwards.
So here Krishna Kaviraj Goswami mentioning about how once he came there, then Chaitanya mother of Chachimata was brought by Chandrasekhar Acharya, and then how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expresses his gratitude for, because she took